Good morning, good evening, or good night to the lovely people watching. Today's video we'll be speaking about a few things actually. First subject, make yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and just enjoy the next 10-20 minutes. Sit in the sunset while you're watching this video. The other day I did something I rarely do, or maybe the first time in my life I've actually ever done. I did not bring my phone, keys, wallet, headset, or any personal things. The only thing that I did the other day is that I locked my door, went outside, put on my shoes, went for a walk. I had my notebook and a pen with me in case I wanted to take notes, and I just started walking. My perspective of time got lost. I had a bottle of water with me, and that was pretty much it. I went to the forest and I went for a walk. I had a day off, so I didn't have anything planned. That is maybe the best day I've ever had in a long ass time. I didn't think about technology, I didn't think about work, I didn't think about spiritual life, my opinions on politics. It was just me, my brain, and nature, and a book. I walked and then I sat down in front of this beautiful tree, this really big oak tree. And I just sat there. I don't even know how many hours I was gone. I was just sitting there, meditating, breathing, and then I started to get really restless and just like, this shit started to be boring. So I just started to dance a little bit, and a little bit fun, just to go a little crazy. When I came back home, reality hit, and then I realized that, oh, there's a few things that I need to do. But those few hours I was gone without technology, a wallet, phone, connection, communication, it was fucking amazing. Because it made me realize that, wow, I discovered a lot about myself on that trip. Even though it was just 2 hours in the same places that I've been thousands of times before. It just made me realize that I've never fully enjoyed the beautifulness of that sort of tree. That bird sitting on that freaking branch just chirping, singing. And I was just sitting there just, wow, I'm able to listen to these songs. I'm able to see. And it created a sort of gratefulness sensation too, where it's just like, man, I've taken a lot of stuff for granted. I may dislike my 9 to 5, but it creates a paycheck that it make me able to afford living here, paying my bills, having food in the fridge, running water, heat, cold, stuff like that. And then on a deeper level, I was like, you know what, I'm grateful for actually being able to see, being able to hear, and being able to feel stuff. Not everyone's lucky like that. I'm grateful for, I just started to take notes and just like, you know what, I'm grateful for the A, B, C. I think I wrote a few pages just standing there. The handwriting was god awful, but I enjoyed it. It was just like, yeah, nice. And when I came home, I got this burst of motivation. It was just like, yeah, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna put on some good music, and I'm gonna actually I'm gonna do the dishes, and I'm gonna make some good food. I'm just gonna vibe and do me. So it's what I did. In search for perfection, you miss the beauty, is the next thing I would like to speak about. This is maybe for everyone, to be fairly honest, when it comes to this quote, that you're striving for perfection all this time, that you're missing the beauty. The small things in life are maybe the things that are more adequate and maybe the most important things compared to the big moments. It was a friend of mine the other day. She said, and this actually stuck with me, you're so hung up, and maybe I'm wording it a little differently, but compared to how she said it, but you're so stuck and or you're so hung up with striving for fixing everything, planning and executing, that you forget to live a little bit. And I was like, no, I disagree with that. My ego just completely took over. We're just like, no, I refuse that. Fuck that shit. Diving deeper into the conversation with her, I started to realize that I was wrong and said, fuck, you may be right. Because I've been making YouTube videos, going to the gym, going to work, doing the things I'm supposed to, sometimes just skipping out a few days, doing the things I'm not supposed to do. And I just, fuck, this is boring and a little dash of depressing too. And then I started to realize, I need to take a little more risk. I need to fucking just get out of my comfort zone. I need to do a little bit new few things. Like the other day, I went outside with no headphones, no phone, no wallet, no keys. Just went. No plan. The next thing I'm about to do, I don't even know. But one thing that I've started to take notes on are not everything in life must be prepared, planned. Sometimes you just need to live a little bit. You just need to sit down with your own thoughts and discover yourself. And that's on the word to the next point, therapy. Discovering yourself, as I mentioned. All of us, I can't say all of us, but most of us, we're so, okay, go to work, create a family, have a plan, be a man, provide X and Y, this and this. I do not care how old you are, how your mindset is, who you are as a human being in general. I would recommend therapy. Therapy is not maybe for everyone, but I would recommend going. The reason I'm saying that is because it's coming from a person that has always have had this mindset of, I'm going to fix everything myself. Fuck everyone else. I'm not going to rely on help. I'm going to be egotistical and I'm going to shoot for the stars on my own. I'm not going to rely on anyone. Well, that's sort of thought process. I enclosed myself away from friends, family, in a period of time, and I just cut everything off. And I realized that for a few months, it was actually pretty nice, getting productiveness, going this, doing that, doing X and Y. But then I slowly realized that, fuck, I need humans. I need my family. I need my friends. I need therapy. Because I need to figure out what's going underneath, below the surface. Imagine your mental health like an iceberg. Like like Titanic. On the top, on the surface level, it's easy to understand certain things. Okay, happiness is happiness, anger is anger, depression is depression, sort of X and Y. But on a deeper level, in the dark, your subconsciousness, things that we rarely talk about, tinker with, think about. There are things that are locked in your brain, if it makes sense, that you avoid. You avoid the uncomfortability of your own mind. On the surface, you can say, I'm just lazy. Are you? Because if you have ambitions and you know your goals and things like that, it might be something else. I'm not a therapy. I'm just speaking from experience and speaking from logic and speaking from what people have told me. And it's quite nice when I took the leap of faith of seeking out help. I can openly admit that I'm going to therapy. There's nothing wrong saying that out loud, to be fairly honest, in order to figure out what's going on with the noggin. The reason I'm going to therapy is a little different reason. As for myself, of course. The reason I'm going is not for me to tell anyone, except for myself and my therapist. But I can openly admit that I'm going to therapy, and it helps. If you have never gone to therapy, I would recommend it. Try a sessions and then try for a little while. If it doesn't work out for you and you think that, you know what, I tried for a while, I figured a few things out, but it's just not me. That's where the last things of this video comes in. Doing things you've never done before. In the beginning of this video, I spoke about going out for a random trip without my phone, without my headset, without my wallet, without my keys, things that I use and are necessarily for me on a daily basis. Recently, as I said before, I've started to take more risk. I've started to do things that I've always wanted to do. Things that I've been warned about. Don't do this, don't do that. But I'm a curious soul, so why not? I have done things people my age wouldn't do. I'm not saying that I've done drugs or anything. Trust me, I've never done any drugs. I've failed at so many things because I tried. I used to word it, I've wasted so much time doing this and that. But I'm glad that I so-called wasted this time by doing so much shit. There's so much stuff that I've done on my own that I've never spoken about, never showed anyone. Small victories that I don't speak about. Small failures that I've never spoken about, but that I've written down, or I bring it with me. That, you know what, I'm glad that I have this sort of experience. I'm glad that I've spent so many hours at the gym. One thing that I usually do every single day, I spend upwards 3 hours at the gym. Bro, 3 hours at the gym? That's bro, Manis, you're not gonna grow, you're not gonna make any muscle, you're not gonna make any progress. I spend 3 hours at the gym because 45 minutes to 1/2 an hour, maybe 2, I'm working out. The other time, I'm communicating. I'm fucking around. I'm in deep in my own thoughts. I'm zoning out. I'm just like, damn, I haven't done this shit in a while. Because for me, the gym it's peace. It's just, for me, a moment of relaxation. I don't remember what the point of it was up towards the end of this video, but that's fine. And I'm doing my thing. I'm experimenting. That's how it is. That's how it's always been. Always will be too. I like experimenting. I like going sometimes head first into things. For example, one last example before we go. I remember the first time I ever jumped from a 10-meter up high place into the water. I was afraid because I was thinking. I was afraid because I thought of consequences. I remember I traveled with a friend. It was me and him. And he just encouraged me to jump. But I was holding so hard to the railing. And I nearly started crying because I've always had a fear of heights. And I remember he just said, let go. Just the way he said it, just the way he just worded it, it felt like the wind flowing in my ear and then right out again, but just stopping by. And I threw myself out. I landed on my feet. Nothing happened. but it was the rush of feeling alive. Just, I did it. I jumped head first, no thoughts. And that's why I love risk. Either everything from the small risks to the massive risks. I fucking love it. Because it makes me for who I am. The title of this video is The Bill of Regret and Morning Coffee. If you don't live the way you want to live, one day in a decade, when time flies by, just like that, you will sit back and you'll realize, fuck, I lived a basic life. If I continue to live the life that I'm doing right here, right now, and I'm fucking grateful for it, one day, if I have kids, if I don't have kids, if I become an uncle, fuck it, one of the dreams that I really have is one day being sitting in a rocking chair, speaking to my grandkids or my nieces or something like that. And then saying, hey grandpa, why are you crazy? Why I'm crazy? Gather around kids, I'm gonna tell you. Back in my day, people told me, don't do this, don't do that. When I started to live life and started to do the things that I wanted to, I started to feel alive. I started to be me. Look at your grandmother. Beautiful. I would never have met her if I didn't take risk, if I didn't go up to her 40 years back and speak to her. A sentence like that. Speak to your grandkids and encourage them to fail, to fall, to learn. Because if you look at it, today's kids, they're just like, I've seen parents just like, the kids is fucking screaming in the, what is it called? They're screaming, just like, oh, I want candy. Their solution, here's a fucking iPad. I'm just like, what the fuck? When I was young, holy shit, if I start to scream in the store, goodbye all technology. Fuck me. When I look back upon it, I have my problems and I have my aches and I have my hiccups and there's a lot of things from my childhood that I just look back upon and it's just fuck. But I'm also grateful for the way my mother raised me. If my mother is watching this, thank astonishing woman. I would not change anything differently. I cannot ask for a better family either. And that actually, by saying that sentence, actually makes me nearly cry. Because the way my mother raised me, alongside other family, the sacrifices, everything she's done, everything she has put in. She's created a son. That's a little fucked up and a little unique and shit like that. I apologize if I'm crying. It's just it just makes me really grateful for that. You know, fucking have a mom. She fucking loves me. I remember I grew up in a strict household, and if I did something wrong, I wasn't necessarily punished, but everything that I did had consequences. That if I decided to play video games compared to doing my homework, I would lose the PlayStation. My mother, if there's one, as a man, you'll understand this dream I'm about to say. The sacrifices your parents has given you, these things you've been given throughout life. One of the main reasons I'm going to the gym, to build a strong aesthetic body. Most of it is because of myself, because I've always been a skinny kid and I've always wanted to be big. But I want to give back to my family, that they sacrificed everything for me when I was younger. I remember one of my favorite Lego Star Wars sets is with the ARC 170. And I remember my mother bought it for me for Christmas when it came out, maybe in 2012, 2013. And no, sorry, 2010. I think it was the 2010 model. But I remember that was the set I've always played the most with. I remember when I gave away my Lego when I was younger because I thought, I'm not gonna have use for it in the future. As in my early 20s, I have regret of giving away those Legos because here's the logic: my mother spent so many hours at work, sacrificed, and bought me and my sister Lego. No, I bought me Lego for Christmas. I regret not being the child I should have been. I regret being a shitty son for so many years. I regret a lot of my mistakes. But I'm also grateful because it's taught me how to be and how to act. I just wish the reason I want to become successful, a multimillionaire, is not to be selfish, not to be, oh, I'm gonna buy the new Lamborghini. Honestly, fuck fast cars and supercars, in my opinion. I don't want to live a lavish lifestyle. I actually want to live a simple lifestyle, but I want to live it because I achieved my dreams. And I will. I will. Even if it takes fucking 10 more goddamn years, 20 goddamn years. I just want to give back everything. And it might sound harsh that I'm not the one supposed to free others. But just envision yourself if you could pay off the mortgage they have on the house, the debt they have. Imagine if you could just, here mom, here dad, here's 20 million each. I paid off the house loan I have. You don't need to work another day in your life. You can retire. I've seen all these videos on the internet, TikToks and all these sort of things that, here mom, here's X amount of money. If I ever achieve that dream, I would never show that to YouTube. I would never speak about it. I would live with that feeling that I fucking achieved that. But by not showing it. Things that I'm showing on YouTube are things that I'm okay with speaking with other people. I am okay with people knowing that information to a certain extent. What you do with the information is up to you. But I just constantly, one of the main reasons I wake up every single day rock solid hard is that I'm gonna fucking win. I'm gonna fucking win. Even though there are days where I just want to fucking just fuck this day, fuck everyone, I wanna end it. There's this teeny tiny spark in my heart that just keeps screaming, don't you dare fucking give up. That goes for you too. Take risks, live life. Stop living like according to everyone else. I did YouTube for me. I never started YouTube because someone told me to. Maybe except for Hamza Ahmadi, an entrepreneur that is making millions and really successful, that when he said, just start your own YouTube channel, that may have something to do along with me creating the YouTube channel. But the main reason I started YouTube was because I've always had a fear of putting myself on the internet. I've always been afraid of looking at myself and always been camera shy. By challenging that fear is not gone. Ta-da! I fixed one of the longest fears I've ever had since I was young. Putting myself on the front line, showing myself. That's the reason I started posting on TikTok. That's why I'm starting to flex like these muscles. That's why I'm showing my PRs. It's for me. not for anybody else. If you watched this all the way to the end, thank you. Share, subscribe, do whatever. But thanks if you sat this all the way through. It is you versus you. Fuck everyone else, but seek guidance when you need it. Take care, boys.